So recently I started thinking about conservative comedy, probably because I was bored or I'm getting over a cold. I don't really know, but it did feel like a fever dream. Anyway, something keeps popping up in my feeds, and it is a speech to the Oxford Union from Konstantin Kisin of the Trigonometry. Great. Podcast, and it has the very bold thumbnail of saying, "Show this speech to a woke person." The title of the video is very funny. It is "Comedian Leaves Oxford Union Speechless." Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't know that the whole point of comedy was to leave your audience speechless. And yet here we are. Apparently that's the state of comedy. If your audience doesn't react at all, you're doing a good job. Wow, real killer set out there. Yeah, no one did anything. Anyway, I thought that I might as well watch it, and we're going to get to experience this together, and I'm going to find out exactly why everyone wanted to talk about this. Because I'm apparently awoke. I guess I'm awoke. I don't have the pussy hat, but, I'm, sure, we'll go with that. Maybe I'll change the background so it looks like I'm actually in a liberal cabal. There we go. Okay, let's try this out. You and me, we're gonna do this.
You will not know this, but I was supposed to be the first non-student speaker for the proposition. I've now been the fourth, which means that I now have to thank all the previous speakers for making my best points for me. And I find that
I believe that the whole concept of this was that they were going to make a motion that woke has gone too far at the Oxford Union. I'd kind of be interested to see what the other speakers had to say before him, because now it feels like I'm just getting secondhand knowledge. But okay, whatever, let's keep going, Konstantin.
The main reason now that I have left to be in support of the motion is that I am so tired of talking about woke culture.
Before I continue on, one thing that I do want to mention is that I am going to need him to give me points on what woke culture is. Because I've seen so many people throw it around, and I need some definitions, and I would really need some examples, and hopefully he will actually give them. Hopefully.
That's why it's gone too far, more than anything else. And I thank the other speakers.
That's why it's gone far, because I'm tired of hearing about it. Alright, I'm already worried. I'm already concerned about this speech. Oh man, it's gone too far because I'm tired of hearing about it. That's all. These damn kids, get off my lawn. Alright.
For making the points for me, because it means I don't have to reiterate the point that no, free speech is not some right-wing reframing of whatever. It's the foundation of Western civilization.
I'm gonna guess that what he's going to go for is a free speech absolutist doctrine. I want to make it very clear before we continue. Hey, I'll go back to the liberal cabal for a second. Hey, I want to make it very clear. Every time you start hearing conservatives start talking about freedom of speech, I want you to realize that they don't actually mean freedom of speech, because they will absolutely put limits on them every single time. Have you ever heard about conservatives talking about this piece of media or that piece of media that just is wrong and it's terrible and it's evil? Or, ooh, here's a fun one, when they start talking about people that are gay or people that are trans or anything like that, or having police crackdowns, anything of that nature. Yeah, that's them saying freedom of speech is bad. I saw a Libs of TikTok post one time, because apparently they get fed to me now, thanks Elon, and it was about a drag queen performing at a bar that was just on the street in Miami, and so kids could walk by, right? And because kids could walk by and see that there was a drag performer performing at a private business, there were people in the comments saying, "Oh, this is horrible. Governor DeSantis, get the police, shut this place down." Conservatives don't actually care about freedom of speech. They want their speech heard, but they will do everything in their power to make sure that the other side is not. The only reason why they talk about freedom of speech is because they think that they are being censored. If they didn't have a fear of being censored, they would absolutely do it to the other side, and they do on multiple occasions.
I don't have to make the point that has been made by far better people in the past, that the only way to deal with the problem of racism is to treat people on the content of their character.
Oh, God. We're going with Martin Luther King. Okay, anyone who studied this probably doesn't need me to tell them, but Martin Luther King about the content of your character was an aspirational one. He didn't think that we were there yet. It would be really great to live in a colorblind society, folks. I think everyone would love to be able to do that. And if we had not invented the concept of race in the first place, you could have easily done that. The problem is that we did, and so now we're stuck with it. So we have to address the things that happened in history that led you here. It's a longer conversation. I'm going to let him go. I'm pausing too often. Let's just keep going.
And nothing else. And the fact that woke culture seeks to overturn that is a new form of racism that we must all oppose.
Addressing that racism happened is racism.
It means also I will not use this opportunity to say I told you so, as someone who spent the last 5 years warning people in the West that if we continue to erode our culture, if we continue to undermine our confidence in Western values, that our enemies like Vladimir Putin will seek to capitalize on it.
Erode our Western values. Okay, he's gonna need to explain what he means by that. What do you mean, erode Western values? Could you please explain? Be on the lookout, folks. We're watching this. I have not seen this speech before. I don't know what he's going to say, but honestly, erode Western values. Define that, please. And Vladimir Putin. Okay, I'm gonna guess that he is from Russia, if I remember. Back to the Cabal for a second. He is from Russia, so I am kind of interested in how his feelings on Putin are in this particular scenario. There is a certain problem when people start talking about Western civilization or Western culture, which is that everyone seems to have a very different idea of what Western culture is. Because I would suggest that a lot of progressive ideas that we have in our society right now are indeed Western culture. Massive fundamentalist states have a lot of problems with LGBTQ rights or the rights of women, and we're the ones that are trying to promote that. To me, that means that it's a Western civilization issue. So when he starts talking about preserving Western civilization, I'm confused about that, because also, we might have to talk about things like race and sex if we're talking about Western civilization, because those are kind of part and parcel to our civilization. Anyway, okay, back to Super Smart Boy. Let's go.
I will not make any of those points tonight. At all.
Oh, good.
Instead,
I was worried.
I am not going to talk to those of you who already agree with me, which I imagine is most of you. I'm not going to talk to you because I imagine after everything you've heard tonight, you're going to vote for the proposition. I'm going to confess I will take your vote for granted. Tonight, I am the Labour Party and you are the Red Wall. Now,
he's the Labour Party. Welcome to right-wing ideology.
I want to talk to those of you who are woke and who are open to rational argument.
Right.
A small minority, I accept. Because one of the tenets of wokeness is, of course, that your feelings matter more than the truth. But
he just said at the beginning of the speech that woke has to stop because he hates to hear it. I need to stop wokeism because it makes my fifis hurt and it makes me angry. Oh my God.
I believe in you. I believe there are those of you here who are woke, who are open to rational argument. So let me make one.
Okay.
We are told that your generation cares more than any other about one issue in particular, and that issue is climate change.
Okay.
We're told that many of you suffer from climate anxiety. You wish to save the planet. And for tonight, and tonight only, I will join you. I will join you in worshipping at the feet of St. Greta of climate change.
Why is Greta Thunberg, or Thunberg, such a big problem for these guys? have you really thought about how much people obsess over a teenage girl from Europe? Isn't it a little weird? Frankly, is she gonna do anything? I don't really know. But if we're talking about somebody who wants to just raise awareness of climate, let her go for it. I'm not saying it's going to change everything, but having people more actively involved in climate or in your country in general, I would think would be a good thing. Wouldn't having a more actively engaged youth culture who want to be actively engaged in the society be a good thing? One of the worst things that you could have in a civilization is apathy, because that just allows people that are in power to do whatever the hell they want. Apathy is the death of democracy. Greta's not going to have every solution known to mankind. But just the fact that she's out there seems to bother these dudes. And I don't know why. I get that she's a public figure, though, so yeah, she's absolutely open to criticism, but it's just weird that she specifically is the focal point for everybody, really. Anyway.
Let us all accept right here, right now, that we are living through a climate emergency and our stocks of polar bears are running extremely low. I join you in this view. I truly do.
Okay.
Now, what are we to do about this huge problem facing humanity? What can we in Britain do? We can only do one thing. You know why? This country is responsible for 2% of global carbon emissions, which means that if Britain was to sink into the sea right now, it would make absolutely no difference to the issue of climate change.
I like that we finally have the Brits explain that they are absolutely pointless. Thank you for that. There is one little issue that we should probably address, and I don't have numbers in front of me. I don't. But I do want to make it clear that anytime you see any country say, well, this is all that we actually do, understand that because of the way globalism works and the way that the global economy works, you might actually be responsible for more emissions than your country specifically. Because, for instance, we do a lot less carbon emissions in the United States. Oh, I'll get back into the liberal cabal for a second. Here. Oh, hey. Hi. Welcome. Chucky? For instance, the United States has a lot less carbon emissions than some countries over in the Asian bloc, like China or India. And so people say, well, look, we don't pollute nearly as much. We don't use as much coal as they do. And so actually our emissions are pretty low. Maybe they should do something about it. But one of the reasons why that changed is because we outsourced a lot of our production to those countries. So all we basically did is say, here's the carbon emissions that we make, and we just shuffled them overseas to foreign businesses to make the products that they're still making for us. But technically, I guess the carbon emissions are over there now instead of here. But because we needed the products and we still buy the products, the carbon emissions are directly affected by our spending habits, our consumerism. It's just that we moved it out of our country and we put it into another country. And then we said, oh, look at how terrible their emissions are. So England is, to some degree, a consumerist market and buys from foreign entities. So if they're buying anything from China or India or any of the countries where there's a lot more industrial production now, they're probably responsible for a little bit more of the carbon emissions than he's giving them credit for. But still, yeah, okay, it's a fairly small island. I'm not going to say that it's going to change everything. But, here's a thought. That doesn't mean that England or any country couldn't serve as an example for other countries. I mean, like, leading by example, guys. That's a thought. Just a thought. Just a thought from the liberal cabal. Okay.
You know why? Because the future of the climate is going to be decided in Asia and in Latin America.
What did I just say?
By poor people who couldn't give a shit about saving the planet.
Oh, I'm going to be interested to hear what this dude just piped up about. Poor people don't give a shit about saving the planet. There is actually some evidence that poor people actually probably do have a lot of reason to care about the planet because they don't have the resources to deal with massive climate change that would negatively affect small, rural, or poor areas. But someone just piped up. Let's find out what happened there.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Freedom of speech, folks. Someone just piped up. One point of info. Nope. No, thank you. Is that what they said? Hold on 1 second. Hold on.
No, thank you.
Point of information.
No, thank you.
Freedom of speech is the most important thing in Western civilization, which we must protect, and I'm here to protect it. Also, point of information about poor people not giving a shit about the planet? No, thank you. No, la la la, no. Moving on with my speech. Great. Just great. I love the libertarian vibes off this dude.
It's going to be decided by poor people in Asia and Latin America who don't care about saving the planet. You know why? Because they're poor.
They still have to live on the planet. If the planet becomes too inhospitable, the people that can't afford heating or cooling for their houses are absolutely going to be affected more. They kind of have to care. It will matter to them. I'm sorry, if the rest of the speech is like this, I have absolutely no idea why everyone was like, oh wow, he really stuck it to the lip. Oh my god. This is as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I come from Russia, which is not a poor country, it's a middle-income country. 20% of households in Russia do not have an indoor toilet.
Fun.
What they have is an outdoor toilet. And I don't mean one of those nice portaloos that we get here.
Yeah.
I don't even mean a Glastonbury portaloo. I mean a wooden shack.
Boy, that's an unnecessary dig at Glastonbury. I've never even been there, but man, burn.
With a hole in the ground.
Yeah.
The hole's a collected fermented memory of the last 10,000 visits.
Perfect.
How many of you are going to go home tonight and say, let's rip out our bathroom and erect a Siberian shithouse in the back garden?
There's actually, I come from New England. There's a lot of people that would absolutely love that. But here's the thing. I don't think that there's a lot of people suggesting that we tear out our bathrooms, Constantine. I haven't heard a lot of the woke folks, which is, I thought, what we were supposed to be talking about right now. I haven't heard any of the woke folks going, rip out your bathrooms, guys. So, I don't know. Also, are porta potties, or even, the old outhouses, the two-holers, were they actually all that much more environmentally sound? Like, we've done improvements on toilets so that they don't use quite as much water now. I haven't heard a lot of people saying that you need to rip out your toilets. This seems like a straw man argument. Because it is.
And if you're not, why should they? 120.
They already have them. They're not ripping out their toilets because they already have the thing you... Okay, that's confusing.
Million people in China do not have enough food. I don't mean that they don't get dessert. I mean they suffer from malnutrition.
Yeah.
That means that their immune system is breaking down because they don't have enough food.
Okay.
You're not going to get them to stay poor. Imagine you're Xi Jinping, the leader of China.
What?
When you were 10 years old, there was a revolution, a cultural revolution in your country. And people came and they put your father in prison. Your mother had to denounce him. Your sister killed herself. And you, no longer enjoying the protection of your formerly powerful father, were sent to a village where you lived in a cave house. And here you are, decades later. You have clawed your way up the bloody and greasy pole of Chinese politics to be the undisputed supreme leader of the very Communist Party that destroyed your family. And you know that the main thing you have to do to survive and to stay in power is to deliver the one thing that the people of China want: prosperity.
Wait. So, is he trying to make the case that Xi Jinping is not actually a communist? Because the communist system betrayed him, so he's not doing communism anymore? I mean, yeah, China's not... Oh, let's go back to the liberal cabal for a second. Okay, I kind of understand, and this is very important to note, that every time people start talking about how China's this massively communist country, they're really just getting terminology there. Like, it's the Communist Party, it's technically a republic, but also, is it really? Xi Jinping has pretty much said that he's going to be president for life. That's his purpose. That's what he wants to do. And you can't have a communist country if you have, like, a monetary system. That doesn't work. But is he trying to suggest that Xi Jinping is bringing prosperity to his nation to be an affront to communism? That seems awfully complimentary. It feels like he's saying that Xi Jinping wants to create prosperity and not just maintain his own power. Because I think he would maintain his own power through any means necessary. And again, I have to ask, when it comes down to the climate argument, are we really telling individuals that they shouldn't eat food? Or are we trying to find more renewable and sustainable ways to live so people can still eat, can still prosper, without the planet, dying? Because here's something that Constantine is not apparently understanding. Do you know some of the big effects about climate change? Some of the real big effects that you're already feeling right now? Droughts, deep freezes, colony collapses. They didn't have a crab season in Alaska this year. Not enough crabs. Oceans are too warm. Think about what happens when we start getting massive droughts in the Midwest. What's that going to do to our food supply? Do you think that's going to help? No, fighting climate change actually matters so that we don't lose agriculture. So, if you want to feed the population, then this should matter to you. This guy, this is the new hero of the right already, I can tell. They're gonna love this guy.
Where do you think climate change ranks on Xi Jinping's list of priorities? A third of all children who live in extreme poverty in the world live in India.
Okay, we moved on before he actually explained that, but the truth of the matter is that, as I tried to just explain, climate change should rank very high on China's priority list if prosperity and food insecurity and any of those things matter to him. If he was a smart man, which Constantine apparently thinks he must have been to claw his way up the system to where he is right now, and to want prosperity. Prosperity is going to be very difficult when there's, like, droughts and floods.
That means they are starving and dying of preventable disease. Now,
okay.
About 15 months ago, my wife got pregnant. Not me, because we're old school.
The mild transphobia is what makes it funny.
And for 9 months, we talked about what our boy would look like, what he might do when he grows up. We looked at baby scans and videos on YouTube about what the fetus looks like at 9 months and 12 months and 20 months. And eventually he was born. And he is this cute little bundle of joy. He's cuter than about 80% of puppies. Right. Now, if you said to me that I had a choice, either my son had a serious risk of starving or dying from a preventable disease in the next year, or I could press a button and he would live. He would go to school. He would bring his first girlfriend home. He'd go to university and graduate and become a woke idiot. And then he'd get a job and get married and have children and become a man.
Okay.
But all I have to do is press this button.
Yeah.
And for every day of my son's life, a giant plume of CO2 is going to get released into the atmosphere. Now, you're all very young, and most of you are not parents. Let me tell you something. There is not a parent in the world who would not smash that button so hard their hand bled.
Okay, that is a false choice. We have to choose between our child living and releasing massive amounts of CO2. No, here's a thought. What about if we didn't release the CO2 into the atmosphere, and you could still feed your kid? Who could have possibly figured out something like that? You'd have to be, like, looking into sustainable energy or something to that effect. Back to the Cabal for a second. The argument that he's making is basically what the fossil fuel industry wants to make it. Hey, you don't want your kids to die. We better keep drilling for oil. That's all that is. It's a false choice. Well, you have to choose between throwing hundreds of thousands of tons of CO2 into the air or feeding your baby. And you could still have your child be prosperous, and it's more likely that your child will be prosperous if you're not throwing all the CO2 into the air, because the CO2 is going to kill them one day. So you're not helping your child. You're just avoiding trying to figure out solutions to the problem. You're kicking the can down the road. You're not helping anybody. Still didn't define what woke is. He just said that they're idiots. And that he's tired of hearing about it. What is this dude? They're gonna clap. Watch, they're gonna clap. For what? What are you clapping about? That's stupid! You're Oxford!
You are not going to get these people to stay poor. You're not even going to get them to not want to be richer. And so, I put it to you, ladies and gentlemen, there is only one thing we can do in this country to stop climate change.
Oh, this is going to be
And that is to make scientific and technological breakthroughs that will create the clean energy that is not only clean, but also cheap. And no, thank you. And the...
Just completely... Wait, whoa. Hold on! So at the end of this whole stupid freaking speech, his solution is to find clean and affordable energy? Are we fucking kidding? Seriously? That's the solution? That was the... Really? What the fuck is this? That point of order dude is the best.
I want everyone to get home on time today, which is not going to happen. And the only thing that wokeness has to offer in exchange is to brainwash bright young minds like you to believe that you are victims.
How? Why? Examples! My God, we only have 50 seconds left!
Believe that you have no agency. To believe that what you must do to improve the world is to complain, is to protest, is to throw soup on paintings.
What are you doing? Okay, the soup on paintings thing is stupid. I love when people bring up the soup on paintings. How dare you? You know why? Because that's actually one of the most effective things that climate activists have ever done. Because a can of soup was real damn cheap, and the conservatives have been talking about it for months. There was a dude who set fire to himself on the State House steps to protest climate change, and it barely even made the media cycle. But a couple people threw a can of soup on a painting, which is going to be able to get clean because they're behind glass, and everybody knows that. Apparently they didn't. They thought that they were just open air works, masterworks. It's going to cost the museum a little bit of money to clean off the glass, and it cost the can of a soup to make a statement that lasts for months to bring attention to climate change. That's a pretty effective and cheap way to do it. I will still say that it doesn't necessarily seem to correlate to climate change, but still, you can't say that it wasn't effective because it got the media talking about it. People are going to talk about it when there's, like, a painting at a major gallery that gets soup thrown on it. That's how you get people talking. Let's finish this up. Maybe he'll finally explain in the next 40 seconds what woke is and why it controls our minds.
And we on this side of the house are not on this side of the house because we do not wish to improve the world. We sit on this side of the house because we know that the way to improve the world is to work, is to create, it is to build.
Okay.
And the problem with woke culture is that it's trained too many young minds like yours to forget about that.
Huh?
Thank you very much.
Citation fucking needed. What was that? We believe in work. Work will set us free. We believe in change. We believe in doing things. We believe in progress. That's why we're not woke. Hold on. Let me see that again.
Prove the world is to work.
Yeah.
Is to create.
Okay.
It is to build.
Great.
And the problem with woke culture is that it's trained too many young minds like yours
Okay.
to forget about that. Thank you very much.
What is he talking about? I don't understand what he means by that. Pointing out that there are problems in the society and then trying to figure out a solution to it isn't creating anything. The impetus that he's going for is that if he's anti-woke, but he's there to work and create, it means that the woke folks are there to, be lazy and destroy. Apparently. And that's why they're activists. And that's why they're out there in the streets. And that's why they're all over the place. That's why he's tired of hearing about them. He's tired of hearing from all these people that are apparently lazy and not willing to do things. They're not willing to do work, folks. Meanwhile, I'm going to complain that people aren't going to actually do anything to stop climate change because they don't want to be poor. And then also that carbon emissions are just gonna have to be in the air because I want my baby to eat. But also we need clean energy policy, I guess. What does he think woke people are looking to do? Do you think that there's a lot of people that are woke that want babies to starve? Is that the thing that you think is gonna... What kind of weird straw man are we making here? I just, wow, that is such a bad speech. That is such a useless speech. That was one of the most nothing burger speeches I have ever seen. Woke is bad. I am good because I am not woke. I believe in change and work and such, and I believe in green energy, apparently. And renewables, not like the wokes who don't like green energy and renewable policy. They are bad. I am good. Duh. Also, my wife is a woman and gave birth to a child, and I am a man, so I did not. Ha ha, laugh line, applause. What a piece of crap for a speech. This is Oxford Union. I thought you guys were smart. I'm gonna actually tell you this. Show this to every woke person you know. Show it to every woke person you know. I dare you. I double dare you. They will get the biggest laugh out of this. I hope everybody who is quote-unquote woke watches this stupid bullshit to see how lame the argument is. They made up a damn straw man. They didn't even explain what woke is. They gave no definition. They gave no actual ideas that were being floated. They just gave a straw man argument, made up bullshit, and then just said, we are the good workers, and they are not, which is just so lame. Give an example, man. And then we just did some apologia for China, apparently, at some point. Xi Jinping wants his country to be prosperous. He doesn't care about climate change. Also, it's going to be really important that we deal with climate change because we need renewable energy. Something that the damn lefties don't want. What is this? I feel like we should watch more of this dude because I need him to explain what woke is. I need him to give me a definition. Because if he thinks that being woke is apparently not working on renewable cheap energy sources that are clean, I don't know what he thinks it is. Woke teaches you to be the victim. Something that apparently has everything to do with the climate change issue? Like, he seems to shoehorn that in, too. We're here to talk about climate change, apparently, which is why I'll tell you about victimhood. On the one hand, I am shocked by how this kind of thing goes viral. And on the other hand, I am not shocked at all that the right thinks that this is their golden boy now. Here, folks, I can do a right-wing speech just like Konstantin Kisin. Here we go. All right. These wokes, they're gonna indoctrinate you because of indoctrination. And also because they're bad. They're just bad. They make you the victim. And victimhood is bad. Also, I feel victimized for having to listen to all the woke stuff. It makes my fifis hurt. And feelings don't care about your facts, but also facts care about your feelings, apparently. Also, this whole woke culture is wrong. They want to kill my babies. Why are they going after the children? My children, I had them. Well, my wife had them, right, guys? That's how it works, because of the fucking. And then also, woke is still bad. Remember that? I said that to begin, but I can say it because freedom of speech, but it's making me feel bad. I mean, come on. And also, we need good policies for energy, and we need to work hard to create green policies. Not like the wokes who want you to be a victim, right? Because indoctrination. Thank you. 3 million views, please. I could watch an hour of him doing this bullshit. Okay, let's get out of here. This has been very therapeutic for me. Your prophecy for the day. I have a point of information. No. I'm good. No points of information. I'm a free speech advocate.